Hey everyone, Tony D and Little Joan with a hot take. Remember the woman who rented the U-Haul truck for the Louisville protest last night? And she was part of something called the Bail Project. And according to the nationalfile.com site, the Bail Project is tied to Antifa. Of course, well, they were pulling Antifa signs out of it and received millions from Bill Gates, UMG, Jack Dorsey, amongst others. Now, really, what this is a little hyperbolic in that I think in that this bail project, it probably poses as, oh, well, we're just trying to help people who can't afford bail, poor people and poor black people who can't afford bail, something like that, right? And that sounds like a nice thing, right? Because it's like they prey upon the kind of image a lot of rich, usually white people have of poor people. Oh, you're poor, you must be black in the inner city and blah blah blah. It's actually they're preying upon their own sort of internal racism. It's not the racism of like 60 years ago. It's like the racism you see on the left, and they kind of prey upon that. And so this is my speculation. It's just totally my opinion. So they donate, and they end up donating millions of dollars. Because first off, it's a nonprofit, so you can write it off on your taxes. So, you figure, well, better some worthy cause gets my money than the U.S. government. Um, but, these nonprofits, and the Bail Project also got money from Soros, and everybody's freaking out about Soros. Soros is not going to jail. Okay, he's a billionaire. They'll never put him in jail. You can't put billionaires in jail. It's impossible. He could literally murder someone. I know, Joe. I know. Do you wanna come over here? I put you there, and you were quiet, and then I start the video, and right away you got a problem. So yeah, they're not gonna get Soros ever. He is old money. He's old money. Um, Even if he didn't get it from his dad, he's old money by the fact that he's old. They're not going to prosecute him. He could tie that up in the courts literally until he dies. I mean, he has that kind of money. He has billions of dollars. Donald Trump's a billionaire, just like over the mark. He's worth a few $1 billion. Michael Bloomberg's worth like $52 billion. So, I mean, there are guys that just dwarf Trump in terms of their billionaire status. I'm not sure how much Soros is worth. I think he's in that range or higher. But, does he know? Did he know that this woman would rent a U-Haul truck and help Antifa? No, of course not. But the idea is to create enough of that, enough situation, enough opportunity for stuff like that to happen. But there's no ties to him. She's the one in trouble. She's the one that's going to be in trouble, not him. He just donates to a fund that then donated to this bail project. Same thing for Jack Dorsey, who was on the list, CEO of Twitter. Now, Jack, he's a little more of an activist, so maybe, but ultimately, I don't know. The thing that Jack does, I think, is he helps Twitter, run interference for these groups. Because look at what he did here. Twitter, Louisville will burn, doesn't violate our rules. Oh, really? Here's a tweet. Louisville, Kentucky will burn tonight. Brianna Taylor, everyone. That doesn't violate your rules? That's not violent? It's pretty violent. It sounds pretty violent to me. If you're going to burn down an entire city, I would think that would count. And let me just say something about Brianna Taylor. You should watch. I'm going to link it in the description. You should watch a guy by the name of Officer Tatum. OfficerTatum.com. And I'm going to link this video specifically where He is a police officer. I believe he's an ex-police officer. He's also black, by the way, so I try to accuse him of racism. Um, but he breaks down the Brianna Taylor case, and there's a lot of little details that the media have glossed over. Like, for instance, she wasn't asleep in her bed. These cops didn't use a no-knock raid. They changed it, and they did knock. They made a bunch of noise, and Brianna Taylor was apparently part of this. I don't want to call it a gang. I don't think it was an official gang, but she was in the life, as they say. She was mixed up in with her boyfriend and some other guys. They were dealing drugs. And this wasn't the first time she was a part of that scene. Now, I don't want to go into all the details because it's very complicated, but they weren't there on a whim. They didn't just show up at a random person's apartment and says, "Ooh, let's shoot it up and hope we kill some black people." They were there specifically. They served a warrant to get someone, and they got shot at first. One of the cops who they broke down the door, and I believe it was Brianna's boyfriend shot, which is just dumb. Because even if it was drug dealers coming through the door, he didn't kill him. And, because it was a cop, and this cop got hit in the femoral artery. That's in your leg. You can bleed out very quickly. He was lucky not to die. And the shooter's lucky not to have killed him. But because he initiated the shootout, I believe Brianna's death is legally, I think in the state of New Jersey at least, you would be legally liable. Although he wasn't in the act of committing a crime, so maybe not. He shot one of the officers and they returned fire. The one thing one of the officers was charged with was he panicked and shot, I think, into the next apartment, and he didn't follow procedure or whatever, so he may receive some punishment or a demotion or whatever. But, these people are rioting over a person. Now, I'm not saying she deserved to die, but she was in that life. And when you enter into that life, you're taking your life into your own hands. It's true. It's dangerous to deal drugs. It doesn't matter what level you are. Anybody in the drug game can be killed. So, so she is not. There are plenty of people who would make excellent martyrs for the cause of police reform. People who died for no reason. They were totally innocent. The cops got the wrong house. I mean, there was a baby that was killed. The cops got the wrong house. They did a no-knock raid. They threw a blast. What do they call them? Like blast grenades or something? Something that's like a stun grenade. It landed in the crib and killed the baby. So, I mean, stuff like that. You could use stuff like that, and people would be behind you 100%. But unfortunately, BLM is not about that. They've gone way beyond this. They just grab the next person. Oh, somebody got shot by the cops. Obviously, it was racism. Riot, everybody. And now people are so crazy with this stuff. They tweet stuff like Louisville, Kentucky will burn tonight. And Jack should not allow it by his own rules. He has just made a bunch of rules which he then interprets however he'd like. Because he thinks this is probably helping Joe Biden. It's not. It's actually helping Trump, you dummy. Because these riots don't help Biden. In fact, the Democrats are desperately trying to pivot away from the riots. And they're desperately telling their minions, stop, no more rioting, you idiots, stop. But once you started this thing, it's going to take months to stop it. So, and then meanwhile, you've got this woman, you think, you want to talk about police abuse. This woman was outside, I believe she was watching her daughter at a game, and she wouldn't put a mask on. Now she's outside, she's with her family, and this cop is trying to arrest her because she doesn't have a mask. It's ridiculous. He should not be arresting her. This is completely wrong. She's broken no laws. This is a cop. This is a cop who should be fired. She is. What law has she broken? Show me the law she's broken. She's not broken any law. She's with her family outside. There's absolutely no danger here. None. Now, if she was inside, maybe you'd have a case. Maybe. I mean, this is ridiculous. And she struggles, which is a dumb move. She should not struggle with the officer, because then eventually he tases her. And this is in front of her daughter at a game. This is wrong. I mean, he
arresting her for a mask, not wearing a mask, and he ain't even got one on.
Right. Hey, where's your mask?
Remember, we're second together now, right, guys? We've done this how many times together?
That's bullshit.
Yeah, I agree. Total BS. And this is what happens when they come to get someone. Everybody just stands there while the cop takes them away. There won't be a riot for her. There won't be a protest for her. Maybe somebody will send an email. And this video went viral. Thank God you put up the video. But this officer clearly, in my view, overstepped his bounds. He should be fired. He used very poor judgment here. I think he just got mad because this woman wasn't following his instructions. In his defense, she shouldn't have taken it this far. She should have said, okay, I'll go with you. I want your badge number, and I'm going to fill out, because he does have an argument here that she resisted arrest, but this is wrong. I think she should lawyer up and sue the county or state or whoever's responsible for that officer, who, by the way, he is no skinny mini. I mean, this guy he's a big guy. I seriously doubt if she had run away that he would have caught her. Maybe he should just go to desk duty and call it a day, in my view. But this to me is unfair. It's very unfair. This woman is outside. She's with her family. You see the marks on the bench for social distancing. He's got no business policing this like this. She's not like sitting up in the stands coughing on people. She's just there with her family. And so I think, this is an example. And this happens. Cops they're human. They get mad. And I think they let their egos get the best of them, and they abuse their power. This, to me, is an abuse of power right here. What happened to Brianna Taylor was tragic, but it wasn't an abuse of power. It was more like a terrible accident. And, but I don't think you're going to see a riot for her. Sad.